Hey guys, thanks for joining me for this 44th episode in Season 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. Special guests for this episode include Canadian country duo the Ashley Sisters. We'll also visit with building designer and innovator Scott Hamilton Harris. Of course, if you would, please take the time to subscribe, drop a like, comment, leave some feedback, and of course share with your friends. Well, today is St. Patrick's Day, but obviously saying its full name takes too long, so when you shorten it, which one of these do you go with? St. Patty's Day with 2 D's or St. Patty's Day with 2 T's? Well, according to a new survey, 49% of Americans go with the T version, 29% go with the D version, and the rest aren't sure. Now, people with Irish heritage are more likely to use the D version, which makes sense. The D version is the original, authentic Irish abbreviation. Now, the patron saint of Ireland is St. Patrick, who has a D in his name. Now, in the English, his name is St. Patrick, which is where the T's came from. Country music singers and hailing from all the way up north, the Ashley sisters, Lauren and Marlo, and I pray that I can remember that as we go throughout the rest of the interview. First off, Lauren, Marlo, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Now tell us what the landscape in Canada, the country music. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of country music coming out of Canada. I mean, you guys can't keep it all pent up there, can you?
Right, like at a young age, we were in the performing arts. You know, we started as dancers in dance competitions, and we also had like all makeshift bands that we would do when we were like preteens. And then we started writing our own music, and we write all our music and lyrics now. Mm-hmm.
Now, who was the early inspiration musically? I mean, where did you guys get turned on to music? Was it a family thing that was always on?
It was a family thing, actually. My mom's parents, our grandfather, he was a saxophone clarinet player, and he actually toured in big bands for a really long time. And my grandmother, she is a singer, so it does run in the family, although it did skip a generation.
So I suffice that to say, Mom and Dad, they plug mics. Is that about the extent of the music?
I don't even know if that's about the extent. They don't even quite know how to do that. But my mom's getting better with the camera, so that's really exciting for us.
It's the small victories, right?
Yeah, those little things, like how do I turn it on? And she's got it turned on now, so we're progressing.
Now for you, how scary was it the first time making the trek to Nashville? I mean, was it a little bit scary bringing your style of music into Nashville to see what the feedback was going to be?
Honestly, like, it was so exciting. The first time in Nashville was so exciting for us. We went to like all the places, and we love the show Nashville as well. We've been watching it, and we're big fans of Lennon and Maisie. And we're so into like the community, even from afar, that when we went there, we're just so excited to play and be at the clubs and pubs and do the Bluebird and all that kind of stuff. So it was actually really exciting for us.
Now, how has this last 12 months played out for you guys? Has the songwriting, music-wise, has it been more of a challenge to find inspiration?
We've been trying to keep positive and motivated the whole time. We were writing a lot of music, and we still are writing a lot of music. We even bedazzled our instruments, as you can see here in my microphone. It's a little bedazzled, and I also did another guitar that's all as well in that pink color. So Lauren did her bass in blue. She plays bass. And we're actually sisters, so we were like quarantining together. And it was a lot, but it was tons of fun. We actually got some fun, I guess. We got to know each other a little bit more, I'll tell you that much. You know?
Yeah, we definitely vibed off each other, and we were able to write a bunch as well. But obviously, this is not an ideal situation. We can't wait to like meet you face to face and go out there and meet our fans. So we're really excited for when the time comes. And Marlo didn't mention, but this entire keyboard is also, you can't see it in the camera, but it's all bedazzled. The entire thing has jewels. So we really did spend quite a lot of time on our instruments and making them look pretty.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about having to spend so much time together. Did that maybe breed a little bit more angst in some of the music you guys were writing together?
Could be. Actually. We have all different types of songs that we write. So there are definitely songs that are more angsty. And, quarantine may have brought that out in us. That is good thinking. I actually didn't correlate the two before, but now that you say it, it really... Even with our single, I'll Get You Back Again, you can really tell because it's really all has to do with the internet and dating online. And that came about more so with the time period that we're in now where you can't actually meet people out. So just dating online and meeting people online and breakups online and the whole idea of just being in the cyber world that we really are completely in right now, as opposed to going out there and meeting people face to face.
Right. Like you're still dealing with things like jealousy, abandonment in this digital era, but it's how you're dealing with it that I feel like this song kind of explores that.
Yeah, and I'll Get You Back Again is definitely a COVID-inspired.
Little angsty song there. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, what has been the biggest challenge? Has it been the technology in this COVID time to get connected up as far as I know station visits and that kind of stuff aren't happening? How much have you guys had to learn technologically to just keep connected?
A lot.
It's funny how she's saying a lot because she is the one who's like really good with all like the tech stuff. Like I'm really good with like plugging things in, all that kind of more behind the scenes stuff. But when it becomes to like in the box of the computer, like Marlo knows her computer. And so for me, it's like I'm always asking her for help with the computer. And I know that she'll have the answers just because she's so good with that kind of stuff.
Maybe a little tech savvy, but it's been difficult. I've had to watch a lot of YouTube videos and I've had to go on like forums and just like finding out like troubleshooting stuff, and it's been difficult, but I'm glad that we have the setup we have and I don't want to touch anything. So yeah.
Yeah, my daughter, she asks if she can borrow the hotspot. I'm like, if it's got to leave my studio, I don't want anything moving.
Right. So you move one thing and then everything turns off and then it's bad. Yeah.
Now, I know you've got the guitar and the keys there in front of us, and I don't know what you guys had in mind to play, but you guys willing to play now? Is that cool?
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds good. I see you behind the Bible, smile and look my way. You caught my eye, what a sweet surprise. I don't know how, but you found out. I got a C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush, I got a crush. I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush on you. My secret is out. Couldn't you tell when I met you? Looking behind that Bible, and I don't know how, but you found out. I got a C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush, I got a crush. I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, I got for you. I can't deny the chemistry when you looked at me in front of the choir. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush, I got a crush. I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, 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 I got a crush on C-R-U-S-H. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush, I got a crush. I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush on you. C-R-U-S-H, I got a crush on you.
That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff. Hey, I love hearing the bass and in an acoustic performance. You don't get to hear the bass. I mean, everybody's got an acoustic guitar and sometimes a keyboard, but the bass going along, man, that's something you don't get in a normal acoustic. So thank you. That's good stuff.
Thank you. Well, bass is my instrument, so I've been
vocal.
Yeah, well, obviously in vocal. I've been playing for quite some time and, throughout school, and you just learn so much stuff, and it was an easy credit for me, so I just went ahead and did that, and it became something that I use now today in our sets, so it's really fun. I'm a hugely inspired by Paul McCartney, so that is his thing, and I got the Rick, so that is his brand, Rick and Hoffner, and so I just love my bass, and I love playing and singing.
Now, does the two of you play in the different guitars? Does that make it easy to complement each other as far as the writing and the melodies and the harmonies is concerned as well?
I think so. I mean, I think that we really complement each other a lot. It's funny because we actually started years ago. We were put in a band together at rock camp. We went to band camp.
All right.
And we were putting a band together, and everyone's like, this is really gelling. This is really working. And we didn't even think about working together because we were in different bands at the time when we were younger. But that was a huge eye-opening experience for us where they said, you guys sound great together. You guys look great together. So that's really when we started working together with each other, with the bass and the guitar and singing. So
now Donnie and Marie always had she's a little bit country, he's a little bit rock and roll. Which one of you leans country and which one of you leans a little more rock and roll? I've got my own ideas, but I want to hear from you.
I want to know your idea.
Marlo is the one I've got picked as the rocker.
You know what? We will go with that. Because I think that we both have different sides of us where it's just like we got our more country side and we got our more rock and roll side. And I think we both have that. So that was a really tough question. But I'm going to go with you. Marlo is the rocker and I'll be the country.
Now, who are the artists that inspire you today? Whether it be the ones that inspired you early on, or maybe it's a new writer or singer that's inspiring you right now.
Well, the first song I ever learned on guitar was "Sweet Home Alabama" by Leonard Skinner. So I think that probably, like Leonard Skinner, is a massive inspiration.
All right, she's the rocker. Okay,
she's the rocker.
And I was just like listening to that song. I'm like, I need to know how to play this song. And my guitar teacher at the time was like, "That's an advanced song for a beginner." And I said, "I don't care. I want to learn it." So he taught me, and ever since, like, it's just like I just loved it. And I kind of tried to bypass the more beginner songs. I didn't have time for them,
Now, Lauren, did you guys fight against the idea of working together? Was it always a thing? You're like, we want to do our individual things, and was it something like that, or was it coming of age and you were like, this is something we really ought to do?
It's strange because like we have both had our musical journeys, and we came together at one point, then we separated, then came together, and separating came back again. But really there is something special when we are working together. There's like, I don't know what to even call it. It's like a swag, or I'm unsure of like the word or what to use. Like a spark, like there's something that just makes us something special when we do work together as opposed to separately. So
I also think it's the vulnerability that you have when you're working with somebody who you can be like completely like authentic with. And if you have a story to share or a concept you want to write about, it's really easy to do that with somebody that you like trust, as opposed to like new writers or working with other people. I feel like it is a little harder to get there. Whereas with Lauren and I, it was always like, because we're so close, it was easy to share these things.
So you don't have to name drop to get some cred, because you start name dropping and Lauren's like, you ain't never met them. You don't know them.
You don't know, but I think it's great that we have that, like Lauren said, chemistry, that we're able to write and like very openly and freely with each other.
Now, I noticed whenever you guys were playing earlier, the smiles, the performance. I mean, how much have you had to tweak the performance singing to the little web camera or the camera that you're singing to without seeing the reactions back? I mean, how hard has that been?
it is different, but we do have each other, so we are vibing off each other. And now we have you, so I mean, that's exciting. And we do spend a lot of time practicing. So for all those people out there that are in love with music, it's just practice, and that's what's really important, because you know, it really makes the sound the way that it is, the practicing.
Now, what for each of you? I guess Marlo, I'll ask you first, and then Lauren. What has been the one thing that you've really focused in on in this time? Has it been instrumental work? Has it been the writing, vocalizations? What's been your big focus that you've been working on?
Actually, like everything that you said, we've been working a little bit on everything. So every day we'll do maybe something different. Like one day we'll do writing, the next day we'll do practicing, the next day we'll do vocal stuff. Like every day is to keep it interesting, and so you're not like doing the same thing every day. As well, like outside of music, I started cooking a lot, and I learned how to fry chicken. And my grandmother's recipe, and then my mom started frying chicken, and then I was like, I want to do it. You know, like, what if one day, like, I'm like not living with you, and I want to have some fried chicken. So she taught me, and it was tons of fun to just be able to have that time, like, at home, to at least do some things that I never did before, you know?
Well, Lauren, now it's your turn.
Now it's my turn. Definitely been working vocally a lot during this time, taking the time to just hone my craft. And I think we both have been doing that as well. We have been writing, and it's strange not really seeing people. So for me, like, I did have a bit of a tough time during this time period. But I've been watching Netflix, which I am seeing people, but it's not really So that's kind of what I've been doing, and we've binged quite a few television shows. But it does help in a way, because you do get to see some human interaction, although you're not the one interacting. So it will be nice, like I said, to go back out there and talk to people and meet people face to face and get back to kind of where we were before this all started.
And another one for each of you. This is, when you think about playing live again, what is the one thing that you maybe miss the most? Maybe it's not so much the singing. Maybe it's the walk up to the stage. Maybe it's the smell as you walk up to this crowd. I mean, what is the thing that you miss the most?
It's like everything, but it really is just connecting with the fans. And you get such a high after the performance. It takes a while to like come down from it, just the energy from everybody there, and just the energy of being up on the stage and doing what you love to do.
That's awesome. Well, I want to make sure and let our listeners know where they can keep up with the new single, the tour dates and performances as those become available as well, and everything else you got going social media wise.
You can find us very easily in social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, all the way at the Ashley Sisters. It's very simple. Twitter at sisters_Ashley. We like to keep really on top of just talking to people, interacting with people. Twitter's a really great place for that. So are the other social medias. But honestly, like, message us and we'll respond. Like, we wanna talk with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and as well, for other information, you can go to our website at theashleysisters.com. Our single's up there. I'll get you back again. And the link to all the streaming sites as well is up there. So I don't know if you're on Spotify or Amazon or whatever you use. There's a page there where it could just link you to whichever one you're on.
All right.
And also listen to the radio.
Yeah, I know. Call us, send a text. It's all
I'm
that.
in my car. I'm listening to the radio. Like, you gotta listen to the radio. You gotta support. I love the radio. You know, there's something special about listening to radio. I don't know what it is, but I gotta have my radio on.
Well, I appreciate that. As a radio guy, we appreciate hearing that from you guys too. That's good. Now, did you guys want to play another one before we go, or is that cool?
Yeah,
Sure.
we're cool with that.
We're gonna play,
What are we gonna play?
I guess our first single.
Sure.
Our first single.
Outlaw, I can feel it in my bones out on the highway. It's where it feels like home and my heart is racing. 100 miles an hour, I'm reckless. Riding down these roads on my motorcycle. It's my Bible, let's forget this. I can't be without my bike, I'm a ride or die for life. They call me reckless. Bandit, I roll the dice on life and I take my chances. Cause it turns out alright and my heart is racing. 100 miles an hour, I'm reckless. Riding down these roads on my motorcycle. It's a Bible, I said forget this. I can't be without my bike, I'm a ride or die. They call me reckless. I got a taste for the fast life and a need for speed. I'm reckless, riding down these roads on my motorcycle. Like it's a Bible, let's forget this. I can't be without my bike, I'm a ride or die for life. They call me reckless. They call me reckless. They call me
I love it. Now, again, one more time on the socials, website, and all that before we head out. I want to make sure and remind them.
You can find us on Twitter. You can at sisters_Ashley. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Ashley Sisters. And you can find us on our website at theashleysisters.com.
You sound like you'd practice that at least twice.
A little bit.
Well, Lauren and Marlo, I think I got your names right the entire time. All-time record. So it's been great to visit with you guys, get to know you a little bit. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and hopefully we'll catch up again real soon.
Yes,
Sounds great.
so
Thank you
much.
again for having us.
Well, here's some good news if you packed on a few pounds last year. According to a new poll, flabby dad bods are now the most attractive body type. Dating.com polled its members, and 3 out of 4 said they're a fan of the dad bod look, meaning not too big, but not exactly in shape either. Now, it's not clear if that extends to women or mom bods, but only 15% of people overall said they prefer a more chiseled look. 45% of single people with dad bods are proud enough to brag about it on dating apps. And around 1 in 5 said body type doesn't really matter to them, personality matters more. Now, that said, 70% of single people have started working out again to get in shape for summer. But a huge chunk of people who've joined a gym this year admit they haven't gone yet. Well, Labrador Retrievers were just named America's favorite dog for the 30th year in a row. But could this be their last year at the top? The American Kennel Club does an annual study on the most popular breeds, and French Bulldogs are having a real moment right now. Here are the 10 most popular breeds in 2021. Number 1, Labrador Retrievers. Number 2, French Bulldogs. They're up from 4th place last year. Number 3, German Shepherds. They are knocked out of the number 2 spot for the first time since 2009. Number 4, Golden Retrievers, followed by Bulldogs, Poodles, Beagles, Rottweilers, German Short-Haired Pointers, and Dachshunds at number 10. It's the only breed that wasn't on last year's list, as they knocked off the Welsh Corgis out of the 10th spot. Our next guest is, builder, designer, innovator, Scott Hamilton Harris on with us today. And first off, Scott, I appreciate you taking some time to visit.
I'm happy to be here.
And folks, if they're just listening to audio, they're not seeing the beautiful background. But where did designing and building, where did that interest first come for you?
Oh, I think it was, let's see, I think I was a day old. Yeah, I think it just something when I popped out of the womb, it just happened. But it was, the ability to create something just lived within inside of me. And I just, I wasn't the kid that had to go and play football. I didn't like to watch TV. I had to make something. And first I had to destroy something to make something. Like, I finally got the Mickey Mouse watch, and I was the kid that had to figure out how the hands worked, but show it to my parents. It didn't work. We took it apart. So I've been doing this since I was a kid. I started when I was 5 years old, remodeling my bedroom. I don't think it looked that great back then, but I've learned a lot since. And I have never stopped doing this. So I feel like the luckiest kid on the earth. I get to play in the dirt every day. I get to build. I get to play with Lego sets. I mean, I've gone to it. They have the advanced builder, but I've actually gone all the way up now to like triple advanced builder on Lego sets.
Oh, wow.
So I get to have fun.
They bow. It's the altar builder. You're the altar builder. Now, how much has things changed over the last, say, 20 years with the building shows, the do-it-yourself shows? How much did that lend to change? And then also I wanted to ask what the last 12 months, how much of a change that has been?
Well, do you want the honest answer, the politically correct answer, the answer everybody wants to hear?
I like to go with honesty.
All right. So honestly, the popular answer here is that everybody wants to talk about how everything's changed in the past 20 years. And I'll be honest about it. I have not seen the level of change that I would expect in one of the most important industries in our world, because every one of us has to, at the end of the day, I don't care how big, tall, small, or we won't say fat, but you're going home to a home, right? And we don't have a level of evolution that you've seen in other industries. And it's just, in my opinion, it's stagnant. So, what do? We took one pane of glass and we put in a second. We've got dual pane glass now. That's exciting. We've got more energy. The energy on the same features, on the same appliances has just been reduced, but otherwise same appliance. So very minimal. And I would say in the past 12 months, really what we've seen is an insurgence of business. There's this thing called the stay-at-home order that everyone's talking about, and it's great, when your industry is in the order, home. So it's been really good for business. I mean, it's one of the worst things that, many of us experience, and I don't mean to downplay it, but it's an idea that it's time to go back to, appreciating and enjoying your home. You spent so much time dreaming of going to the south of somewhere and leaving our house and going to restaurants. And now, we find that people are making their homes the restaurant. Now people are making their homes the resort. Now homes have become a place to school your children. So it's been great for us in the sense that we've been able to really show people how to live a little differently and really appreciate the home. It's not meant to just be an icon or monopoly piece. It's not meant to be just an investment now. It's a place where people go for safe haven. So amazing change that I've seen. But I'm working on trying to bring things into a next level of order with a group, though. But it's because look, you've seen homes before, right? Like when in the construction, right? I mean, yes. What are they made of? What is the base of the house made of? Wood,
concrete and wood. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and concrete's just like it's mud. It's basically mud with a little settler in it, and you put stucco, which is mud. So. And you put drywall on the inside that's like rock with mud. So we build homes with sticks and mud right now. And really, that's what we build them with. Let's be real about it, right? Sometimes we use metal, but there's so many other things. But look what happened with this thing called the iPhone, right? Television. And you look at my rotary telephone to where it is now, but it's still sitting in the same house. We haven't changed enough. So.
What are maybe some of the biggest project questions that you've been getting over this last year? What are maybe some of the biggest projects people have been taking on?
The biggest project question I get is, I have two of them. They come often. It's called how much and how long.
You're right.
That's the one I get all the time. But, some like big, I guess, notable projects that we've done. A lot of times we can't talk about them, but, we did the Playboy Mansion restoration. Before Hugh passed, and and actually one of the ones that I did, I noticed you interviewed Kevin Costner, right?
Yes.
So I did his home for him back when I was 18 years old. And so wow. Now I'm 22. So
yeah, you've aged well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, prematurely gray. We did Ed Begley Jr.'s house, which is the greenest house in America, and I'm trying to hit all the icons, greenest house, sexiest house. I was thinking about going to White House, but I think the political climate's just not great. So I'm taking that off the bucket list. But this past year, we've done some amazing ones. We have an amazing one that's 20,000 square foot renovation, and there's really nothing left of it. It's kind of like you took the old Stingray, the Corvette Stingray, that you're restoring, and you went down to the chassis and you found out half of the chassis was bad, so you replaced it. And then you find, the other half of the chassis is bad too, so we're just going to take off that bin plate and put it on there. It's a full restoration, and it's going to be better than it was. But so we're doing that. We have probably about 12 or 13 projects going on right now that are notable, and unfortunately, most people don't want you to talk about them. Who they are, but it's a blessing to be able to get that level of clients, for me and for us.
Several years ago, before his passing, obviously, I had the opportunity to visit with Dennis Weaver, who at the time had one of the greenest houses as well. And who inspires you with the green thinking and seeing, obviously changing our whole entire mindset about the way we see not only our homes, but what we're leaving for the generation after us as well?
Well, it's a good question, because and I'd like to kind of even evolve past the idea of green, because somebody asked me when I was doing it at Begley's house, we were doing a show, and they said, "Do you consider yourself the green builder?" And I thought, God, that sounds so limiting. Like, I'm only green. Right. And I said, well, there's a lot of other colors in that prism that I want to hit. And so, what drives me is a curiosity, and the idea of the environment is one note in the song, right? It's about health, right? It's about livability. It's about peace. It's about happiness. It's about tranquility. There's so many things that, and I'll tell you, one of the things that I look at often is I'm that weird guy that's like in the park just staring at an anthill. They're like, Sky, you coming along with us? You done? No, there's this anthill. It's really cool. But, when you look at the anthill, or you look at it, or you look at the ants that are making a life, for themselves inside of a tree, and you think, genius. They're so far ahead of us in the sense that there's no air conditioning and heating, but I stick my hand in the tree and it's actually cool. Keep same temperature all day, all night. It's and it's something they can pick up. They can move. There's so much genius out there that we haven't really even begin to understand. It's and we kind of overbuild these homes, and to my opinion, a lot of it is just kind of designed by an industry that just really didn't think about moving forward for some reason. And, when I was a kid, I was out in my backyard. I was 6 years old, and I took a clothes hanger and I was trying to use it as a divining rod. I did not find any water except the sprinkler head. I don't know if I was just joining down, but I've been on a curiosity streak ever since I was a kid for how to make these homes better. And it's interesting because as you do it for so many years, you start to see the flaws, because we get called in, even on the bad side. There's people that have lawsuits, and not everybody has the best builder. And you start to understand why things didn't work. So, the idea is I was reading this morning, the idea of an intelligent person is to be first self-aware that you have a problem. And then the second part of it is to actually come up with a solution that's quick and simple. So those are some of the things that I've been working on that I'm looking forward to sharing with everybody soon.
Maybe one of the most unorthodox uses of a material that you've used in a building that people were like, at first kind of turned up their nose, and then come to find out it truly did serve the purpose you intended.
That is probably one of the best questions I've heard in a while, and that's how we answer something we don't have. That's how I don't have an answer for it, so I'm going to stall right now. It's funny, like things that come to mind are things like, using cork, which we use, but that's not that unorthodox. We use it for acoustic reasons, but unorthodox. I mean, I think everything's pretty orthodox. That's a good one. Maybe we can call back next week on. No, I know there's got to be something.
Just text me.
Well, here's the thing. We're in the city of Los Angeles that we live in. Everything has to have a LA Research Report number. And so you really need to have everything that's already been pre-submitted and tested. I got one. Okay, here we go. I do remember one, but we didn't end up doing it. And I got a call for this. But we were going to use a toilet that has basically doesn't have connect to the sewer. It's kind of a self-decomposing toilet. So self-composting toilet. That didn't go over well. And then, of all things, I was like, we're going to use it for Ed's house. But Rochelle said, no way, not doing that. It has a little bit of an odor, an earthy smell. I get a call after all these years, I finally get a call from somebody who found me on the website and said, Scott, can you help me find a decomposting toilet? And then she starts going on about her bowel movements, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. It didn't really work out. The LA doesn't work out. We can't. I mean, she spent 5 minutes with me with her bowel movement thing. And it's like, why don't you have I didn't want to say it, but
what's maybe the most odd sticking point that somebody has had about a renovation? They were like, okay, you've got some great ideas, but I've got to have said item.
Oh, I mean, it wasn't we've done, let's see, somebody wanted a boxing ring in their house. So we did that. And we're kind of the go-to, I won't tell you for who, well, I can't actually say that one. That one's a little bit too, I'll tell you off the record on that one.
Gotcha.
But, we've done things like electric kitchens where everything was just, and we're working on something now where we've got a lot of hydraulics involved into the homes. One of my clients asked for a turntable for his car because he was a little bit, took too much time to back the car in and out every day. So he wanted a turntable. So, I mean, it's kind of cool. That was fun, a merry-go-round. So we've done those types of things. Look, a lot of the things that we do, they're extraordinary in the sense that they're not trying to be extraordinary. I think and to some fault, everybody's always looking for the newest thing, the greatest hitch, the best gimmick on, because we're used to it with appliances and with technology. And when it comes to homes, we're looking for that. And I really think it's a return to basics is like what I try to teach our clients that, it's a place to just close, think of your house as an extension of your clothes. I mean, what do we wear? We wear t-shirts, we wear something comfortable. We don't wear the coolest, like, hey, look at this thing. It actually washes under my arms. This thing it's this hat's actually cleaning my hair at the same time. We're not in, so a home is really an extension of your clothes and of your being and of yourself. And so simplicity in that and being accepting of that is good. And it's more about, things like letting natural elements in a good way. And some of the simplest things, just even like alignments are, breathtaking if you do it well. They don't cost more. Paint colors. So there's a lot of complexity and the subtlety that you can build into a home as versus, this idea of making it some kind of high-tech wonder. Although I'm still interested in that. I mean, it's fascinating. But I would say throughout my career, it's been more about how to make it someplace that's simple that they'll never sell. It's our curse. We tell them, when you build this home, I hope you like it because you're staying here for a long time. You're stuck. You are stuck on this one.
Now, Scott, what inspires you each day, and especially this last 12 months? We've all had to find a new inspiration, possibly. What keeps you inspired about your work each day? It's hard. I'll be honest. With COVID and the stay-at-home order, and there's some days that you wake up, you're so inspired, and you're waiting for a response to that perfect email. You thought, you're just like, yeah, it's all happening, or you have a new project that's ready to go. But I'll tell you the thing that really gets me going and just reignites me is the idea of getting grounded again. And what I mean by that is I go to the job sites, go to our projects, and, after the mundane things about someone's toilet's leaking and this crack is bigger than I thought the crack would be, you get on a job site, and I can't explain, but I'll try. And you may have had this experience, but when you get out there and you see 50 men working, and they're just like building the Tower of Babel or the bridge over what is it? Bridge over Kwai? What is it? I can't remember. River Kwai.
Yeah, River Kwai. I was going to say Water Kwai, but I mean, they're almost out there whistling, and you see that energy and that force, and it is really compelling to just realize, and you realize that, hey, I'm leading all these people, so I better get on my game, and you pull up and they're like, what do we do? I guess they better tell you all what to do, so I better be on my game. But to have when you create a situation where there's a lot of people that are dependent on you, and there are many moments of weakness that I have, it's hard. I've been doing this for 35 years. So like, some days you wake up like, here we go again. Wow. But why? But when you create a scenario where people are dependent on you and you're taking care of them, in a good way. And I learned something interesting doing some deep thought process, during COVID. And I thought, what does it mean to be a leader? And I meant, I thought to be a leader meant I just had to lead everybody and you guys follow and it's got my title. But then I realized that being a leader is actually, in most senses, really being a follower, because I have to follow what every one of those team members need, those 50 men that are building that bridge out there. I have to follow their needs. I have to follow my clients' needs. I have to follow the bank's needs. So I found out if I follow what everybody needs and in some way I provided for them, they then call me the leader, which is ironic because I'm just really taking care of everybody. I'm really like, I'm the servant that's taking care of everyone. And in that scenario, it kind of helps me just realize I have a lot of people that I have to take care of to continue to try to be a good leader. So it gets me up every morning. And Saturdays, nothing gets me up. Just going to be clear. Saturdays, I am like dead. I am in bed. I'm playing Candy Crush. I'm playing like Soda Crush, just reading the headlines. Like it's just a complete wipeout. So, but yeah, the other days though, I do it. And then somehow like this Sunday comes along and, you realize you got to call Monday and you're working until 3:00, Sunday morning to get prepared. But and I also find having goals makes it help as well to keep yourself going. I'll do, we set weekly meetings, we set agendas. So in a sense, you're always having kind of a rhythm. So it's so easy for any one of us, especially, even for me, and I don't know if you've experienced it with COVID, to just kind of, to not be on it as much because you're kind of out of the rhythm. So you have to create your own perpetual rhythm. So.
You talked about goal setting, and this is one of the things I love asking people about is how the goal setting changes as a result of the last 12 months, or maybe does it maybe have you redefined what goal setting is altogether?
Yeah, I mean, for me, as far as the goal setting, it's actually, I just had more time to think about it as far as, trying to be a better leader. And I think so we've tried to create more rhythms where I think things happen naturally because we were always interacting with one another. We were in an office environment, you're having weekly meetings. And so what we've done is we've instituted, a schedule of meetings and Zoom meetings, and God, I'm burned out on being on Zoom, but anyway, just, phone calls. And that really has helped a lot to keep everything on track. Because even clients, it's, right now I'm trying to get a group together, and it's like herding a group of cats. It's just, but you do that. And I think, for our industry, one of the goals is really, our biggest thing is also keeping people safe. We are considered an essential. I'm really not sure why. I still can't get my head around this. Why, if somebody wanted Venetian plaster in their home, I can go and do that for them. But, you couldn't seem to go to the mall or other places, or I can't go to dinner afterwards. If you want a swimming pool, I can build you a swimming pool during COVID. I get a bunch of men in a pit, but, we can't actually, just go to do the simple things in life anymore.
Can't have the pool party. I
can't even find a place to get socks, but I can go and work. And that's the true story. And so we've been working to keep people safe, and, knock on wood, thank God, all of our team has been safe during this pandemic. And we have someone on our team, John Woosley, that's done, really amazing work at, he's our vice president at just keeping everybody safe. I mean, he's like the doomsdayer in the best sense of the word. And he's been making sure that everything we do is safe. There's COVID monitoring and the restrictions and the signs, and we keep everybody 6 feet apart. And so we've been very, very, very fortunate. And, our goal is to, being honest, look, it's a business, is to make money, because it doesn't matter how many goals I have. If the company isn't making money, we're not a business anymore. We're called bankrupt. We're a hobby. So keeping people safe, keeping everything running during this time, while going through the middle of a pandemic and shortages, has been very consuming. And I'd say that's probably been one of the most consuming parts of the goals for us in this industry. And knock on wood, wait, hold on, maybe I could knock on that thing here. We've done it. And sadly, I'll be honest, look, we've lost a lot of people in our industry. I have dear friends, close people are gone. Companies, subcontractors, owners, they're just, did you hear moments? And people that were, in their 30s and 40s, framers, finished carpenters, plumbers, concrete contractors, owners, sheet metal contractors, they're gone. And this pandemic has taken such a toll on our world. And so to chart a course through that, has in of itself is a new goal that, let's say, we hope that we don't have to continue this much further.
I know you mentioned earlier about back to the basics. Do you think that we're going to get back more to just good old home living again? Or do you think that the technology is just going to, it's taking over? Like my mom, it's taking over.
Technology will take over. I'm a little hesitant because there's so many things I want to talk about that I'm working with right now that I don't want to, probably not the best thing just to announce it live, right? Like, right. Hey, I got this idea now. Someone else did it. Shit, you beat me to it. All right, great. I mean, it was a good idea though, right, kids? Come on, we did that. But maybe the simpler way to do it is there's different building materials that can be used. that are a lot easier to produce. They're a lot lighter weight. They're a lot less expensive, and they're easier to ship. And so once those newer building materials get introduced, it changes the dynamics of the way housing is. And it actually makes it more in a sense that, housing doesn't have to be such a permanent thing. It's like back in the day, housing, your phone, when you got your phone, the rotary dial, like, I don't know if you had one of those.
I did.
I had a Mickey Mouse phone, a Pac-Man phone. I had the cool ones from Makeup. And that thing lasted forever. And now it's like we understand that we're kind of in this recyclable world with cars and with phones and with electronics, but house is like just, it's the yawner. It's like, and so I think we're going to see an evolution in the way that homes are constructed. And I think there will be a designed obsolescence in the homes within themselves. And so I think the entire market is going to be taking a significant shift. It's going to be kind of like where the gasoline engines are going right now. And it's time. And so I think it'll be happening in about the next, unfortunately, probably the next 20 years. But, we feel like we're making advances with things like solar power and wind power. But I don't know. Do you know how old the sun is? It's really old. It's been there for so long, and wind, that thing's been going on for a long time. Like, it's not a techno. And, it's to be able to put a windmill, like, I think these people in Holland have been doing that, right, for a long time. Yeah. And we think that we're technologically advanced. We're patting ourselves on the back. Great job. Hey, all right. Look at that. Big windmill. Guys, that's been done. They put something in the water too. There's hydraulic electricity. We haven't come far enough, but we keep patting ourselves on the back and saying that we do. We call our homes wireless, and we actually added up how many feet were in one of our most recent homes because they wanted everything wireless. So there were 7,242 linear feet of wiring that went into the home to make that home wireless.
Of course. And the best part is you just get calls all night and like, I'm so this, I'm so that, this thing, my wireless, my app, it's like, we really didn't get that much further along, in my opinion. It's not the popular answer. I did say this on one show, and the show never aired because they're like, no, LA is a great place, right? It's wonderful. We've made such great. No. And I the way I like to think about things, they always say from 20,000 feet above. But, I think, what if I were God? And I don't mean that in like I'm a narcissistic kind of like entitled way, as much as what if I was looking down at these people and just thinking, God, what are you guys doing? Let me just take a look at this. Now, this is interesting. Every one of you duplicates the same pod. That's fascinating. You're taking the Earth's materials and you keep making the reproduction, and most of you don't. But then what you do is after you create it, then you leave it and you don't use it and you go somewhere else that someone else has made. There's ideas of the communal living that I think have just gone by the wayside. I mean, that's how we started out, as living as a community. And there's ways where you can redesign and re-engineer housing in a sense where you kind of take a hybrid of what's happening in resort living, where you have smaller places where people are living, but you have the necessities of everything there. I know they call it apartments, but still, it's not really the same in the sense that it's really not a communal thing. Everyone's building their own individual little pods, and they're just duplicating what's there. So I thought I wouldn't probably give us an A on that if I were God. And you're using a lot of these. And then the other thing is everyone's using still these biodegradable materials. Guess what? Your house lasts about as long as your mortgage does before it starts to, on a good build. And, the wood, the drywall, the paper, I mean, you're literally building a house out of materials that are biodegrading. Not the most ingenious thing. I mean, I guess it's good they're recycling on their own, but I can't tell you, Cameron, I've taken apart, we've done homes, and you're in the middle of construction, it's already starting to decompose. I had a wall where we had to do some remodeling. We took it off, and there was just black mold and termites. It had run through it, and I had to replace the studs. It's not the most ingenious way that we build right now. So I know it's easy to be critical, and to be intelligent, you have to come up with the solution. So I'm working on that. But not just anybody can be an armchair critic, but I'm working on both, and like there's simple things like, there's this thing called fire, right? I mean, it was devastated us, and
in Southern California and Oregon. I mean, it was some of the worst fires that we've had in our history. And, you know, the loss of structure was just astronomical. And, well, if you built your house out of the same things in the forest that are burning, you know, guess what happens when the forest burns? Your house burns with it. But there's easy things out there, like there's fireproof paint that most people don't know about. You know, and what they use it for is they use it for commercial buildings. To get there. So in a commercial building, you have to usually have a 1 or 2 hour fire rating. And it's not to stop something from burning, but it allows people to get out safely, right? Because it's almost impossible to ever stop something. Even rock can burn at some point. So, but there's easy things that you could do, like you can just coat your home with the fireproof paint. It costs a little bit more, and you get 1 to 2 hours to be able to get out of your home safely. And you don't have to have the tragedies that we see, you know, on the news. And there's just a lot better ways to do things. I'm going to get off my rant here about how to do something better. It's this morning. I'm a little bit on it, but people tell me nothing's ever good enough for me. So I'll take that advice, but maybe some questions other than that.
Now you talk about being a perfectionist and ranting a little bit. Now, whenever you come to a project, is saying the project is done, is that a hard moment for you?
Oh, no, it's the best moment ever. But I will say, I mean, to your point about being a perfectionist, I drive people absolutely nuts, unfortunately. And anyone who's listening that knows me goes, "Yep, I know that's the guy." At least he's self-aware, thank God, because I am a perfectionist. And, you know, I think my dad taught me something simple that, you know, if it's worth doing, do it well. Otherwise, you're wasting your time, you know. And if I come to one of my job sites in the morning or the afternoon or whenever, the weekend, and something isn't up to my level of standards, you know, it's hey, you see that? Yeah. What do you think of that? And it irritates people, but I take things down. We do things, you know, a lot of the things I do is 2 or 3 times. I think we're getting better, where it's like sometimes now it's 1 or 2 tries, because people know that. And it's gotten to the point now that I'm such a perfectionist that at least my reputation precedes me. So I don't even have to go. I go, "How's it going?" "Well, we're having a conversation on the site. They said Scott's not going to accept that." And so we took it down and we redid it. "You want to see it? How is it now?" It's okay. "Okay, all right, we'll take it down again." "Okay, good. I'll be there." Because, you know, like one of our mottos is good is the enemy of great. And so many people say, "Hey, no, that Bob, that's good. Looking really good. It looks good." Is it great? I know. Why does it need to look great if it looks good? It's right. It doesn't need to. It's good. It's good enough. And so I feel like in our society, in so many ways, when we achieve a certain level of, you know, acceptability, and, you know, hey, I got a B. I mean, that's pretty good, right? A B. Come on, Mom. You can't be upset. It's not a C. It's not an A. A lot of us don't strive, in my opinion, to hit that A level. And, you know, I don't know, maybe just somehow my DNA is a little off or something's wrong with me, but to strive for that greatness. And I'll tell you why I like to do it too. It's not for me. It's not, I don't have some OCD, egocentric kind of trip that I need perfection, as much as I've found that when you do things well, that the people that are living in the house are in a sense healed by it. I didn't have the greatest childhood growing up. And as I spent much time in my room sequestered, even though I didn't want to be, I often would stare at the walls and thought, if I made this a better space, maybe everybody would be happier, which I actually did do for my family and at work. And so that's one of the things that drives me too, to answer your earlier question, is to build, it's a very healing thing to build a home for someone where they all have their places. You know, it has such an impact on humans' lives to have that place that you can go home, the man cave, you know, whether it's her space or art studio, and the lighting is perfect. And, you know, there's that one person that has that's just and like they wanted their interior walls cleaned out and just, you know, painted, and that makes them happy. And so when you do that and you put that level of perfection, it gives an ongoing sense of peace for people. And I get calls from clients. I haven't recently, but usually I'd get calls like every 3 months from somebody from a home we did 2 years, 5 years, 10 years ago. And they're saying, I'm just sitting here having my coffee, and I'm just looking at that piece of crown molding you told me to put in that you took out 3 times. And it's really perfect. And I realized I can take a breath in my home. I walk in my home, I take a fresh breath. I am in peace. No matter what's happening, I feel okay. And so the reason I'm doing this level of perfection is, in the sense, maybe to heal myself and knowing what I've been through, that I want to make these homes a place for people that they can really have a place to go and heal themselves with a healthy environment. And those little simple details make a world of a difference to people. And I also believe in energy. And I think, when you're putting your good energy and spirit and thought into something, it resonates through the house. It's there, and so we try to keep the teams happy as well, because I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Cameron, but you go into a home that on paper, it's kind of like a woman, looks perfect, everything's great. Or women always say this, like, on paper, he's perfect, but something's wrong. He's got the job, he looks great, he's got the car, mom loves mom, but just something, I can't put my finger on it. And I think that's where the next level hits, in the energy level, is that it's the you can't put your finger on it moment. And that's something that cannot be underestimated. You can't just create something on paper. So my opinion of that, I've noticed, is when I'm having the teams that are actually motivated and engaged and weaving their hand power into this house, when they're in a good place of mind, they build something that people just walk into. And it doesn't even have to be spectacular. You walk in like, I don't know what it is, Scott, but there's something cool here. Huh. I don't know either. Well, you kind of know, but.
Now, Scott, if folks want to find more information, I know that you're all over the internet, can find information in social media. If folks have any question, where's the best place to find more info?
Let me give you my home address and you can stop by. But no, best place is, best place to get information is on our website, which is buildingcgroup.com. Our company is buildingconstructiongroup.com. And then I can be reached at scott@buildingcgroup.com, where you can see the fun stuff where I'm posting cooking and, all my fun activities on my Instagram, which is Scott_Harris_building. And so reach out and make some beautiful homes together.
There you go. Well, Scott, it's been great having the chance to visit with you. We dug a little bit. There's a lot more digging, I'm sure we can do, hopefully in a future episode.
I love it. So thank you so much, Cameron, and look forward to hopefully talking to you again.
Well, again, thanks for joining me for this 44th episode in Season 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. If you ever have a comment, a question, or anything else you'd like to know, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at GQ with Cam. If you'd like to help out in the funding for the podcast, you can click on the Buy Me a Coffee tab. You can also visit the Shop tab at gqwithcam.com/shop. If you have a special guest idea, email me, gqwithcam@gmail.com. Thanks again to our good friend Brandon Allen for coming up with the theme music for Good Questions with Cameron Dole. We're going to let him play us out, and we'll be back with episode 45 coming up tomorrow.